70% of people are disengaged in their workplaces. They're disengaged emotionally. They're disconnected from the work that they do. 70% of people. That means only 30% obviously are engaged. So just imagine walking into a situation where you're putting your life or your finances or major important decisions in the life of somebody that's sitting across that table from you or in the hands of that person, and they possibly are in that 70%. That is a problem. So I pose this question to myself, if I could sit down, somebody gave me the opportunity to sit down with them and just have an honest conversation, what would I say? What would I share with them? That's the conversation I want to have. When I think about what it is to have a valued life, it's a life that is full of meaning and hope, an actual life. And that can only come by knowing your purpose. Knowing why you're here, not what you do. What you do is not why you're here. What you do is not your purpose. What you do has to help you fulfill on your purpose, or it's a complete waste of your time. For the better part of my life, there's been this question, especially early on. I didn't have an answer for it, and that question is, why am I here? I looked everywhere. I tried so many different things. In fact, you probably know this about me, or if you look me up online, you'd see that I was a professional actor before doing what we do now and what I do now in W Company. And I actually thought that being an actor would help me figure out exactly why I was here. I thought playing all these different people would help me understand and pinpoint exactly why I was here. What is my purpose here? And wrongfully, I actually attached my purpose, my identity in being an actor. I often joke that if you would have told me back, in my late 20s that you're more than an actor, or, you told me that I couldn't act anymore, I would have been very angry and would have fought against you tooth and nail to push against that idea that this isn't why I was here, that this isn't what my purpose was. And then over the course of, several years and meeting my wife and coming to understand faith and coming to God in that faith, I realized that my identity was more than what I did. And when I look out in the world, I see so many people getting caught in the exact same problem. We have this idea that we can create an identity for ourselves, and I created many identities as an actor over my time in that industry, but we have this idea that we can create an identity for ourselves, but what happens is that we only end up being devalued in the very places where we long to be valued, because we can't ultimately uphold and sustain an identity that isn't actually innate to us. And it wasn't until I took the time, got on my knees and started praying that I really started to get some answers on why I was here. And I remember, my wife can tell you better than I can, but I remember one day, and she tells it like this, that I came to her and I said, I'm going to go away for the day. And she said, what? To do what? And I said, well, I need to figure out why I'm here, because enough is enough. Time is time. And I don't want to waste any one day more trying to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I was around 32 at the time, and so almost 20 years ago. And I remember specifically walking through this little park across town from us, and I remember these questions coming to me that are now in the core modules that we teach. And at the beginning, it was just module number 1 of the LEAD framework, and now it's a full framework that walks you through not only understanding why you're here, but actually how to fulfill on that and what tools you actually need to be able to fulfill on it. But at the time, it was just these 3 questions of, well, what need do you recognize in others? And after that, well, what do you bring to answer that need? And then lastly, just being led to bring those two pieces together to really understand why I was here. And it came out to like 6 words. So, the answer that I saw, or the need that I saw everywhere when I looked out at other people, and especially within myself, I saw that they just needed purpose. If they understood why they were here, that it would transform their entire lives, myself included. And then I realized that as I looked at that question, I realized that I get a lot of revelation. I get a lot of insight into people. And I used to utilize that as an actor all the time. I would look at a character on the page, or I'd look at people that I was, interacting with, and I'd really try to understand what made them tick. And little did I know that I was actually looking at them to understand, well, why are they here? What is their purpose? And trying to help them figure that out in very limited ways, in ways that I just didn't really know how to do, or I didn't understand how to do back then. But as I, looked at myself and turned that perspective, or that view onto myself, I realized I see a need for purpose everywhere I go, and I see I bring revelation in that. I help people understand the truth of why they're here, which is exactly what I tried to do as an actor, and what I tried to do as an acting teacher, and as a director and a producer. I was always trying to get to the heart of that. So as I brought those 2 words together, I realized that I'm here to help you realize your purpose. And that changed everything for me. As I understood that day, and every day since, because I understand it on deeper and deeper levels every day, I brought that home to my wife, and I shared that with her. And she said, well, ask me those questions. And I said, no, it's just for me, I think. I don't think that's for anyone else. And she said, no. Ask the questions of me. And so I agreed, and I asked her the questions, and she had the very same experience that I had. She was able to pinpoint the exact purpose and why she's here in 3 to 7 words. And that was the beginning of everything that we do now. And so when I look out into the world, I see a world that's lost. I see a world that's confused, trying to create identities for themselves, be it individually, as companies, as communities, as families, as countries, creating these identities, thinking that that's the way to go. But what I've recognized over the years is that if they would just know their purpose, and those that have come to know their purpose and why they're here, and put it into a 3 to 7 word statement, understanding the need that they meet and the answer that they bring to meet that need, really in a word for each, and bringing that together, their whole lives have transformed. And they've been able to step into being the leader that we so desperately need them to be. And what I've seen is a direct correlation between that statistic of 70% of people being disengaged and disconnected from what they do in life, because what we do doesn't really matter if it's not connected to why we're here. And that's transforming. That is transformational. That is life-giving. That adds hope and meaning and life where you don't have it if you're just focused on what you do. And so much of the world grabs their value. And we all get stuck in that, grabbing our value from what we do and what others do for us in our life. I mean, look at the intimate relationships that you have. Most of the time, our love is expressed to one another based on, what that other person can give you, what that other person does for you, as opposed to really understanding why they're in their life and what need they're actually there to help meet along the way. And here's something incredibly significant that I would be amiss if I didn't share this as we're talking about this, that I realized that the deepest need that I've had my entire life has been for joy. And God brought a woman into my life, my wife, that's the very need that she meets. And then my son, Luke, who is helping run W Company as a partner with me in this now, also meets that need for joy. And as I realized that, I realized 2 things. One, how much God loves me, that he would put 2 significant people in my life that would help me get that need for joy answered in my life, and also just how badly I needed it, and how much I had been pursuing to be blunt, happiness instead of joy. I didn't understand the difference between those two until my son, when he was 5. He was 5 years old when he told me this. He said, "Dad, there's a difference between joy and happiness." I said, "Oh yeah, what's that?" And he said, "Happiness is fleeting, but joy is everlasting." And that rocked my world. In that moment, I realized I'd been pursuing something that is always escaping me. Happiness is always escaping me. It's there as a real emotion. It's there as a real experience. But the pursuit of it was making me very unhappy. And it's taken me years to sort of work through that and figure that out and understand how to actually stop pursuing happiness and seek joy instead, and notice joy in those moments, in the little moments in life and personal life and professional life, and just to let those be there, and to be standing in joy and realize it is everlasting. It's always there. Those joyful moments in your life are just always there. So I spent, and every once in a while I spend a lot of time just caught in the distraction of pursuing happiness. And I can honestly say it's taking less and less of my time. And I'm replacing the things in my life where, I was seeking happiness through, and, replacing those with understanding and embracing the joy that's there. And that's only come out of being able to understand why I'm here, and also allowing those that are in my life around me to live into my life and to contribute to my life, to meet those real needs that I have. And I see that everywhere we help somebody, actually on a day-to-day basis, that revelation, that transformation happens to every single person, every single company, every single community that we've been able to work with over these last 18 years. They've had the exact same experience. So I know that it's not a fluke, and I know that there are proven principles in that are designed, that are in us, and we're designed to actually fulfill a purpose. And in that meet a very specific need that shows up in many different ways. And that's the other thing that has been a huge revelation for me, and a huge game changer, is that I realized we've been told this lie that we have to meet all the needs and all the people's lives that are around us, or that come to us over a given life. And that's just a huge lie. It's impossible. And it's how we get tripped up. It's how we get off course. Because what I've realized, and the revelation that I've understood and seen at play, the more and more I'm able to help people realize their purpose on a daily basis, is that we are here to meet one need that shows up in many different ways. People's need for purpose shows up in so many different ways. It can show up in a simple question of, why am I here? Just like mine, just like me, early on in my life. And it can show up as just simple confusion. It could show up in a relationship going, am I supposed to be with this person? Are we supposed to be together? Am I supposed to pursue this education, this career path? Is this the right job for me? Is this the right product for us as a business? Is this the right program to put into place as a community, or as a ministry, as a church, as a nonprofit organization? What should we be doing with the time and the effort and the resources that we have? All those what questions can't be answered unless you understand why you're here. And as soon as you understand why you're here, it puts it all into context. And that has been one of the most amazing things that I've seen combat that 70-30 statistic of 70% of people being disengaged and disconnected from what they're doing, and only 30% connected. Those 30% have somewhat of an understanding of why they're here. They might not be able to express it in 3 to 7 words, but I found that as you can, get it down to a statement like, I help you realize your purpose, or we transform you, in terms of three words, that it changes everything. And it allows you and helps you, engages you, enables you, and equips you to be able to fulfill on your purpose and be the leader that you need to be, because you can make those decisions on, if I do this thing, is this actually going to help me answer that need in someone's life that I'm here to answer them, or help them answer in their life, or is it not going to? Is it just a distraction? Is it just a good idea? All of us have so many tools in our toolkit that we've just picked up along the way because we think it's the right tool. Somebody else said this is a great tool for them, but it's not the right tool for us. I often talk about, picking up a screwdriver to do a hammer's job, or thinking that this particular hammer is the one that you need because so and so, built this entire house with that hammer. Maybe that's the hammer I need to build my boat, and it's not the right tool. But we all get distracted by that. We all get stuck in that. We all fall for the lie in the hopes that, if I do this, I'm going to get what I want, or I'm going to get what I need, or I'm going to get that happiness that I'm looking for. And it just ends up leading us to being devalued and disregarded and discarded in those relationships where we actually long to be valued and long to make an impact, because we so easily can make arbitrary decisions. That's one of the other things that I've noticed, is that we are great as human beings of coming up with a reason for doing anything. And we can be convinced that it's the right reason, but you don't know if it's the right reason to do something until you actually know why you're here. I was reminded of this recently. I watched a video on YouTube, and one of the key lines in it was from, and I had forgotten this, from one of my favorite poems, Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And I just, as I heard that line, it just resounded so deeply in my soul and my spirit, just sort of resonated through all of me. And I realized that the world is becoming a dark place. It is getting darker and darker, and we need to rage against the dying of that light. We need to be that light for others who are so desperately lost and confused and struggling. We all have real needs, and we carry those real needs everywhere we go. I sort of have this image that we all carry this bag of needs around with us, and it weighs us down. Each person that we meet, we put it down, we open the bag, and each of us is going, as we talk to each other, unbeknownst to us, but I've seen it happen so many times, that we open this bag and we go, is there anything in here that you can help me with? I have all these needs. Is there anything that you can help me with? And that usually happens over a conversation. We express the places where we're struggling, or the things that we're celebrating, or just basically in general how our lives are going, how business is going, and we have statistics and all of those numbers and charts on a business side, but and on a personal side, we just have those conversations, and we open up to each other in hopes that you can help me and I can help you with a particular need in the bag, so that we can take that out and get it answered and lighten our load, and then find somebody else to help us. And it's always so sad to me that we have just, because we don't know why we're here, we don't know how to have that conversation with each other and go, hey, I can help you with that. And here's how I can help you with that. And just get that specificity and that clarity of communication to really understand how we can help one another. I mean, imagine going home tonight and, talking to the people that are intimate with you and, those that are closest to you, and going, hey, that need that you have for this thing, I can help you with that. And here's how I can help you with that. Would you like my help with that? How many times do each of us step in and try to help somebody only to get beat up in the process, right? Or to be disregarded or distrusted because we had good intentions, but we just stepped in where it wasn't our job to step in, just because we love that person. We didn't want to see them in pain anymore. But imagine, this is how I think, imagine a world where each of us knows why we're here, knows this specific need that we're here to meet. And then in that, we know other people that are in our group that can help those with the needs that we can't particularly help with. Imagine that, what that would look like if you were to come to me with a need for joy, and I could go, hey, you know what? My wife can help you with that. My son can help you with that. Let's go have a conversation with him or with her. But I can, and I can help you with purpose. If you're wondering about your purpose, I can help you with that. Imagine what life would be like, what business would be like, what communities would be like. That's how I think. Those are that's what keeps me up at night. That's when I look out at the world. That's my own unique perspective, and each of us has one, and each of us is here. I know this, that each of us is here to meet a very specific need in the lives of those that we're around every single day. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone's going to want our help because of, for whatever reason, right? Maybe they just don't want to do the work to get that need answered. I've been guilty of that for sure. But there comes a point in everyone's life where that need and the want meet each other, and there's an opportunity there to help. But we don't always know where to turn or how to get the help that we need. So that's where I imagine a world where, we just know who to turn to. To me, that's heaven, where we just know who to turn to at any given point, to get a specific need answered. And as I've walked out my faith, I've seen God time and time again send someone into my life to answer a very specific need that I've been crying out for help for a short amount of time or a very long time. So I know that we are His hands and feet on a regular basis for each other to help get those needs met when we need them and when we actually want to do the work to get that need met. We are so bombarded with distractions every single day. Distractions, here's how I define a distraction, is a distraction is somebody else's opportunity. Along the way, I realized, one day I sat down and I was like, why am I getting distracted so often? When I actually teach that, I teach, how to not be distracted. Why am I getting so distracted by things? Why was I getting caught by the very thing that I knew not to do? And I realized in that I had this revelation, and obviously I attribute it to God and to His knowledge and His wisdom helping me figure this out. But in that, I understood that we are tempted, we are distracted by other people's opportunities. We think there are opportunities, or we just go, hey, there's an opportunity, maybe I should step in. But if you don't understand why you're here and where your opportunities actually are, where you're needed and where you're wanted, so where that need is and that you answer in someone's life, and where they want help with that, and if they want help with that, to be able to discern that, we are definitely, all of us are going to step in to get distracted. And then as we step into distractions, we actually try to take away someone else's opportunity. And in my books, that's stealing. You're stealing somebody else's opportunity, and obviously it's never going to be blessed. It's never going to go well. You're always going to be devalued because you just couldn't answer that need in that person's life the way they actually needed it. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not a doorway for somebody getting the help through our network or through somebody that we know. That happens all the time. I've been introduced to somebody and they know somebody, and I eventually get connected to that person, and that person is able to help me. And obviously I'm very grateful to that person for recommending the other person. That's just life. That's why we have networks. That's why we have people in our lives. And the more we can understand why each of us is here and the need and the problem that each of us help meet in each other's life, the more we're able to utilize our networks and utilize those people in our life to be able to help everyone that comes to us that needs our help and that we so desperately want to help and lead and serve every single day. So it was fascinating to me when I realized that, wow, I'm actually getting distracted by an opportunity, but it's not my opportunity. And that was life-changing for me. That was life-changing for our business and for the lives and the businesses that we've worked with over the years. It's been that for them too, because we all realize that the resources we have, especially time, is limited. We don't ever get that back. So if you're anything like me and don't want to waste, the precious time that we are given here, that those revelations are pivotal in making the most use of our time and the resources that we have so that we can steward those things well on a regular basis and, be a good servant of those things that we've been given. And I think that's the other thing too that changed my life, is that I realized, again, revelation from God, because I'm not that smart to figure that out, but I realized that opportunities are given, they're not made. Opportunities are given, they're not made. That changed my life when I realized that every single time I stepped out to try to make something happen, I was actually stepping in to try to steal somebody else's opportunity, as opposed to stepping into the opportunities that came to me that were legitimately mine, legitimately ours as a company, legitimately ours as a family. Those got blessed, and the fruit was there, and people got helped, and lives got transformed, and purpose got fulfilled, and people were able to lead in ways and be valued in ways that they just couldn't before. That changed so much for me and us, for my family, for those that have grabbed a hold of that idea and run with it. They've seen the exact same stuff. So when I think of what is a valued life, be it personally, professionally, as a business, as a community, as a family, as a country, what is a valued life? How do you give value to life? How do you value the lives of others? You contribute to their life. You answer the need that you're here to answer in their life with the very things that you've been given, not the things that you think you should, but the things you actually have to give to them. That transforms lives. A valued life transforms lives. And what goes counter to a valued life is agenda. See, I see this play out so often that, somebody will step up with their own agenda and they completely throw the other people under the bus that are in the room because they want what they want. I've done it. We've all done it. We all have an agenda. We all, think we know what's best. But at the end of the day, a valued life, a life that you value, that others value, that they want you in their life, they want you to contribute to their life. That comes by you just fulfilling a very simple purpose, a very simple reason that you are here, to meet one need in their life with the very thing that you've been given. As I shared, purpose, revelation, joy, protection. What is it? What is that need what is the need you recognize in others? In a word, if you were to answer that in one word, what is that need? Things like purpose and vision and freedom and joy and hope, wisdom, will, protection. What is it? What do they need in a word? And then once you get that down, what do you have in a word? What do you have in a word that you would give them that would help answer that need? And if they receive that from you, their life would be better. What is it? What do you bring? For me, it's revelation. For my wife, it's protection. It's things like that. What do you bring? Vision, hope, joy, meaning, trust. What do you bring? What do you bring to answer that one need that you see? And then bring those two words together. Use one or both of those words in a 3 to 7 word statement that says I or we, if you're looking at it from a business perspective or family or community. We what? In 3 to 7 words. So as I shared, as I brought those words together for myself, purpose and revelation, I help you realize your purpose. My wife, need for joy, she brings protection, she protects your joy. It's in fulfilling our purpose that we can rage and rage and rage against the dying of the light. We all see it, we all know it when light is dying in somebody, when their hope is gone. Life is meaningless. They're sitting there hopeless, they're desperate, they're apathetic. They've been discarded, they've been devalued, and they don't want to fight anymore. They're giving up. We all see the light. We all know when the light is fading within us. We need to rage against that. We need to fight against that. I had no idea until I watched that video that was such a deep desire in me to share that. I had no idea. Obviously, I'm not the only person in the world, because there's, my favorite poem talks exactly to that. There's something we can do to change the 70-30 problem in the world of 70% of people being disconnected, disengaged from what they do every day, to changing that, to making it 100% of people that are fully engaged, full of purpose, full of life, full of joy, full of hope, and full of meaning and spreading that out. That's another thing that my son Luke shared with me early on. He said, "Dad, joy is like butter. You just have to spread it." That's it. That's what purpose allows us to do, is spread the joy that we have out of helping other people get a specific need met in their life. That's amazing to me. That it's that simple. That simple act of going, "Hey, I see you have this need. I can help you with that." That it transforms people's lives. It transforms communities. It transforms marriages and families. Imagine being in an intimate relationship with someone, your husband and wife, and you're able to understand why you're together, for one, and how you can live into each other's life and meet that very deep need that they have, or they wouldn't be in your life that closely. That's transformed my marriage. That's transformed my relationships. That's transformed many, many, many marriages and relationships and communities and companies that I've been able to have the honor and privilege to work with, and all those opportunities that we've been given over the years to understand what this is all about on deeper and deeper levels, because you don't actually get a deeper understanding unless you engage in it. It's just like anything. I had no idea what helping others realize their purpose was in the beginning, really. I mean, I had that as an idea. I had that as a hope. But man, the last 19, 20 years of doing this, it's made life worth living. When I left acting, I had no idea what life was going to be like. I fought it so hard because I thought that was going to give me what I needed, which ultimately was a platform to help other people fulfill their purpose, which I didn't know at the time. I didn't have those words, but I just had this feeling that I wanted to contribute something. I wanted to make people's lives better. I wanted my life to matter. And I realized that once I gave up that desire and actually gave over to the plan that God had for me, that everything changed. Everything changed. My life has so much hope and meaning and joy. It's not 100% because I still mess up. I still screw up. I still pursue distractions. I still work my own agenda. I still think I'm right sometimes. And I push that on other people. But at the end of the day, as I'm able to let that go and just serve and just help the person that's standing in front of me realize their purpose, there's nothing sweeter than that. That's heaven to me. That's exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, with whom I'm supposed to be doing it. And it's transformational. It transforms my life, their life, in ways that I can't even comprehend. I can't even always explain, but it's just, things are different. They're able to step up and lead in a way where they couldn't before. And so am I. I want that for every single person on this planet. I want that for every single company and family and community and country. We need that. We need valued leaders in our world. We need valued leaders in our homes.